another fantastic video. Today we're going to be talking about the roles of the president. So different roles that the president has to fulfill as the leader of our country. So let's get started. The first role is that of the head of state. And as head of state, the president is responsible for kind of being like the figurehead of the United States. The president represents the needs of the nation. They host visiting diplomats. They pardon a turkey at Thanksgiving. They light the national Christmas tree. All of those fun things that you think of as president is part of the person's role as the head of state. We also have the president as the chief executive. And as chief executive, the president is responsible for executing the laws of Congress. They're responsible for making sure that all of the laws that Congress passes are actually executed. They're actually enforced and carried out. Under this role, the president can also grant pardons and amnesty. And a pardon is a full release from punishment, just like totally pardoning someone, saying, okay, you're not guilty anymore. You don't have to serve this punishment. And amnesty is a pardon for a group of people. And we'll talk about some examples of those in class. The president is also the chief legislator. And as chief legislator, the president is responsible for proposing legislation. So we know that the president can't actually make laws, but as chief legislator, the president can give some ideas to Congress for what are some things that they should be looking at passing. And a lot of times the president does that in the State of the Union address, which happens at least once a year. As chief legislator, the president also has veto power, and we've talked about that, where the president is responsible for whenever the bill that Congress passes comes to their desk, they can either sign it into law or they can veto the bill. Moving on, the president is also the chief economic planner. So the president every year is supposed to propose a budget and send that budget to Congress. And Congress is supposed to go through it and say, okay, yeah, we need to pass a bill to appropriate or set aside this much money for this specific program. And sometimes the president's budget is like thousands of pages long. The president is also the commander in chief. And we know that as commander-in-chief, the president is responsible for making military decisions and guiding military strategy. The president is also the party leader. And when we say party leader, we're not talking about, woohoo, party, party. We're talking about the leader of their political party. So as the president, you're kind of expected to also be the leader of your respective party. And in doing so, presidents are expected to appoint people from their party to different roles within the federal government, whether that be in the executive branch or appointing somebody in the judicial branch. And the president is also the chief diplomat. And whenever you see this word diplomat, I want you guys to think of relationships with other countries, okay? So if you are a very diplomatic president, that means you have good relationships with leaders of other parts of the world. So as chief diplomat, the president is responsible for making foreign policy decisions. Who do we want to support in this specific world crisis? How much money do we want to set aside to support this specific ally? Those are all things that the president does as the chief diplomat. And with that, I will stop. If you guys have any questions, please let me know.